Good morning. It's time for another morning Bible study. My name's Logan McCulley and I'm your host. Today we're getting into Proverbs 15. I kind of had a bit of a brain fart there for a second. It was like still loading. But anyways, we're getting to Proverbs 15. Before we do that, I went to the scout camp and it was so much fun and it was so interesting, but I'm having a little bit of a struggle. I'm struggling with the moving into like the leader role because I grew up in scouting. When you're in scouting, there's like stuff to do as a youth. Like you earn merit badges, you go do things, you teach things. As an adult, it's all youth led. So like there's not really anything, there's no hard skills for you to do. You're there to support, you're there to get them there, you're there to keep them safe. And I've been struggling with that. I've been struggling with my role changing from having hard skills to those soft skills. And I can totally see why people enjoy being an adult leader, and I'm starting to get there. I've just been struggling because I also struggle with if I don't need to be there, should I be there? I think a part of it is, do we need to be continually present? And the answer is yes. We should be present for those scouts to be able to build up that relationship with you so when things do happen, you're there and ready. So that being said, I'm getting my backpack ready for scouting. So like I went and found my compass this morning. I've got my rain jacket. I've got my little fire straw. I'm getting back into it. I always keep like an EpiPen and stuff on me, my first aid kit. But I'm really getting into it, man. And it's a little busy right now, but it's gonna calm down because I did something last week. I'm gonna do something this weekend, and then we're gonna keep on rolling. But that being said, I think it's a great opportunity to minister to the youth, to be able to build up those relationships and be able to support, show them the way, make sure they know what's important is knowing God and having that relationship. I think I see the potential in it. Like I'm new to it as far as being a leader. I see the potential as all. That was a dry cough. I see the potential is what I'm saying. And I look forward to it. But let's go ahead and hop into Proverbs 15 today. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Ooh, that's so smart. And like this is something that I'm learning as I get older. So a soft answer turns away wrath. The reason why that's important is let's think about this. Like if a policeman or someone in authority comes up and tries to, or just like a little thug comes up and tries to like start something with you, or like you get pulled over, they ask you a question, you can diffuse that situation with a soft answer. Okay, you don't need to be like, oh, let's buck up and let's throw down, which is sometimes my knee-jerk reaction, but that soft answer slows it down. And there's two ways to learn knowledge. There's a way to experience it and to learn it, and there's a way to read it and to learn it. There's two ways to learn knowledge. I could save myself so much heartache if I just read this and then taken that to heart. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Don't stir up anger. Verse 2. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of a fool pours forth foolishness. It is referencing 14:33. Let's go back and let's see what we got. I don't think there is there is a 14:33. Wisdom is quietly preserved in the heart of the wise for the time of proper use, while fools are eager to blurt out their folly. Again, preserve the knowledge. Don't be the fool that blurts out their folly. That is a theme that is consistent here in Proverbs. Verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying over and over again. God knows what you're doing. God knows what you're thinking. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on evil and the good. The Lord knows. The Lord knows. Ding, ding, ding. That's going to be our Bible verse for the day. That is Proverbs 15:3. Always got to save them. Now, there is a breakdown to this. The eyes of the Lord. This refers to God's omniscience. period. This refers to God's omniscience. Hope I'm saying that right.
Omniscience.
Omniscience. Omniscience, not omniscience. Omniscience. We learned something today already. Verse 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. The wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in the tongue breaks the spirit. There's a breakdown. See notes on 318. This expression, talking about the tree of life, is a metaphor referring to temporal and spiritual renewal and refreshment. All right, so knowing that, let's read it again. Oh, and also it breaks the spirit. It is to crush or wound, thus destroy one's morale. Okay, so crushing the spirit destroys them. Let's read that again. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life. It is that renewal, that refreshment of the spirit. However, perverseness in it being the tongue, breaks the spirit, destroys the spirit. That's how important it is to have a clean tongue. Verse 5. A fool despises his father's instructions, but he who receives correction is prudent. That's another theme. The one that receives correction, who doesn't just turn away from correction, who doesn't, what's the right word? Say, nah, I don't need it. I wish I could be a little bit more smart sometimes, but that's a theme that we're seeing here. Verse 6. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the revenue of the wicked is trouble. I feel like this is like we've read that verse before. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the revenue of the wicked there is trouble. Because we've read something like that where it's talking about how what you do have as a righteous man is good, but even in how you make your money as an evil person, it's bad. Everything that you do as a righteous person will be good. Yeah, that's all I got, man. I wish I could remember where that's from. There is no breakdown on that verse. Verse 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge. They throw it out. They talk it out. They give it away. Maybe they're Boy Scout leaders. But the heart of the fool does not do so. So not only are they not able to talk about wise things or be able to give away wise things, they don't even have it in their heart. And I feel like it starts in the heart and then it goes out. The wise are already at the out stage, but the fool doesn't even have it in his heart. Verse 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Let's break it down. External outward acts of worship, though according to biblical prescription, are repulsive to God when the heart of the worshiper is wicked. But the prayer of the upright is his delight. You got to have your heart in the right place. You can't just be doing it for show, for, I don't know, connections. Like, I feel like a lot of people sometimes go to church just to see their friends. And that's cool and all. And like, I mean, do I sometimes slip in that? Because I do want to see my people. I try not to. I try to make sure that I get in there and make sure I'm there for the right reasons, to worship and to learn about God. It's hard though, man. Sometimes that is hard as far as for like me personally, making sure that I'm not just going to say hey to everybody. I don't know. Verse 9. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who follows righteousness. The way of the wicked is an abomination. Who wants to be an abomination to the Lord, man? I don't. But he loves him who follows righteousness. That's interesting. So you got to know what righteousness is and to be able to follow it first. And I think that is why it's important that we do this Bible study. I said it. Verse 10. Harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates correction will die. The way is the breakdown, the way of truth and righteousness. So harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way of truth and righteousness. So is that talking about back? I mean, you got to know what the way of the truth and life is to be able to forsake it. That harsh discipline could be the rebuke of your brother. And he who hates correction will die. So I read this and I go, if I get disciplined, okay, maybe I need it, number one. And it's not punishment like we talked last time. If I get disciplined, maybe I'm in need of it. And to not hate that correction, to not pull away from that correction, to kind of take it and be like, all right, yep, I've been corrected. I told you last time how I was corrected. Take it and learn from it. Verse 11, hell and destruction are before the Lord, so how much more the hearts of the sons of men? Okay? Let's read into that breakdown. Hell or Sheol is the place of the dead. Destruction refers to the experience of eternal punishment. So hell and destruction are before the Lord. So how much more the hearts of sons of men? All right, let's go to verse 12. A scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. Again, we're on this theme. Like, if you do not take the advice, the wisdom, the correction, or go to the wise, you will be that scoffer. And it tells me, Logan, to love the one who corrects me, because if they did not correct me, they wouldn't love me. And that's the same thing that, you tell your kid, tell Levi, like, I wouldn't be putting myself in this position to correct you if I didn't care about you, because it's much easier just to not, honestly. It would be easier just to let them run rampant and wild and grow up to be an awful adult, or an awful person, just in general. But that's not what I want, because I love them. I want nothing but the best. So, if someone else does that for me, to also recognize the love that exists there. Yikes. 13. A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. Please be a breakdown. There's no breakdown. So what is countenance? Countenance is a person's face or facial expression. His impenetrable eyes and unscrutable countenance give little way. Also, support. Also can be known as support. So countenance. So knowing that, let's read that again. A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance. So it makes a cheery face, demeanor, I guess it could be a good word to put in there. A merry heart makes a cheerful demeanor, cheerful face. Sometimes I do have that going on where I kind of have like that, like, stone cold, not resting, nasty word face, but like, just sometimes it's hard for me to express the happiness as far as like just like smiling and like, but I'd rather just be in a neutral position. Maybe that's something I can work on, to be a little bit more expressive, to show my merry heart, because I do feel like I am very happy. I'm very satisfied. I literally have had the best Christmas I have ever had in my entire life this year. I don't know what happened. I mean, this is my first year being a real Christian, like actually knowing Jesus, going through Christmas, and we had more family time, higher quality family time. I'm not saying the two things are, the two things are completely related. Like, with Jesus, that's what's happened for me. So, knowing my heart and knowing how like happy I am being able to come home to Jennifer and Levi and like see my friends and read the Bible and have all this time to be able to sit here and talk with y'all, I should be able to express that better. Flip side of that verse. Let's finish the verse though. Okay, before I get too far off the cart here. But by sorrow of the heart, the spirit is broken. If you're sad, your spirit will be broken. Verse 14, let's move on. The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. Read that again. The heart of him who has understanding and seeks knowledge, but the mouth of the fool feeds on foolishness? Oh, okay. I see what we're saying. The heart of the guy that has understanding seeks knowledge. The heart, and when we say the heart, what do you truly want deep down? Not just like what are you doing, but what do you want? The heart who has understanding seeks the knowledge, but the mouth of the fool feeds on foolishness. Verse 15. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he who is of merry heart has a continual feast. Again, we're moving into like this like merry heart, man, and I'm feeling a little convicted here. All the days of the afflicted are evil. I'm not afflicted, I don't think, but he who is of a merry heart has a continual feast. Maybe I do need to work on my outlook on life, honestly. He who has a merry heart has a continual feast. What's the breakdown on that one? The continual feast. The joyous inward condition of a wise man's heart is described as a perpetual feast. Real happiness is always determined by the state of the heart. Because it doesn't matter what you have. There's people like, think about Jeff Bezos, who's got like legitimately so much money. Like legitimately so much money, but doesn't mean he's going to be happy. Think about the people that you know in your personal life that make double, triple the amount of money you make and still aren't happy. Like literally money does not equal happiness at all. But a merry heart does. Has a continual feast. Verse 16. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than a great treasure with trouble. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Man, ain't that the truth? Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. I mean, I was actually talking about with Jennifer last night. I mean, it's kind of interesting how like right now we're short on money. I'm going to be honest. But we're paying for school out of pocket and we're still going on vacation and stuff. We're not going into debt or loan. So it's almost like a thought experiment, except like a real experiment that we're doing right now about like, oh, so I can't afford, like I'm buying a duffel bag to pack for these campouts. I would like to buy like the $70, $80 name brand that I like duffel bag, but I can't because I don't have that money. So instead I'm getting the Amazon Basics $20 duffel bag. And if I don't like it, I'm going to return it, but hopefully it works and it works well. But it's like I'm in that position where I can't do exactly what I want, but I got to make the things happen while I'm here. I can't just go, oh, well, not doing anything. I got no money for nothing. No. Use what I have to make the goals happen. Verse 17. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. Ain't that the truth, man? You ever been at a dinner that you just feel hate it, like you don't belong, like it's not your group of people, but then if you go to a group of people, like it doesn't matter, like you can have Little Caesars pizza or like just like some cheese and crackers. It doesn't matter. It's the people you're with. Than to sit there and eat like the $500 steak with a bunch of like snobs. Like it's just truth. It's just truth that we're laying down here. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. There is a breakdown. Vegetables are in view the typical dinner of the poor. I don't know if that's the truth anymore because vegetables are very expensive. And I love me some good vegetables. But in the general view then, the typical dinner of the poor. Verse 18. A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger allays contention. Alright, let's see what allays means. It means to diminish or put at rest. Allays means to diminish or put at rest. But he is who's slow to anger diminishes or puts at rest contention. Is that like contempt? Contention. The definition is a heated disagreement. All right, so let's read it again. He who is slow to anger puts to rest or delays a heated disagreement. But a wrathful man stirs up strife. You don't want to stir up strife, but you can calm down a heated debate. Verse 19. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns. It's hard, it's rough, it sucks. Like you're working to get through there. Like you're putting up this barrier in front of you. You're getting in your own way. But the way of the upright is a highway. Clean, clear, crisp, straight down the way. I want that highway, man. The breakdown is on the thorns and the lazy man. He is too lazy to remove them. That's it. That's the breakdown. Verse 20. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Again, I think we've heard something like this before in Proverbs. A wise son makes his father glad, but a foolish man despises... No. When we heard it before, it was talking about just about how it makes the father and the mother proud. So, like, a good son makes the father proud, but a bad son makes the mother sad. Like, the father kind of is like, oh, you suck, so, like, hands off. But the mother, if you suck, she's like still hands on, like, oh, that was my baby. But if you did good, now the father's like, all right, we're good. This one's saying, a wise son makes the father glad. Again, you do good, the father's happy. But if you do bad, instead of the mom being sad, the foolish man dislikes his mother. There is no breakdown there, but that is interesting, that kind of comparison there. 21. Folly is the joy to him who is destitute of discernment, but a man of understanding walks uprightly. So, folly. Let's get a good definition on folly. Lack of good sense. So, lack of good sense is joy to him who is destitute, who has nothing. Let's go into destitute. Without basic necessities of life. So, you don't have basic... So, lack of good judgment is joy to him who has lack of basic necessities of life, food, water, shelter. Who is destitute, lack of basic necessities of discernment. So you can't, let's do discern. It's so interesting how all this breaks down, man. The ability to judge well. Folly is joy to him who is lack of the basic necessities of the ability to judge well. But a man of understanding walks uprightly. Be of understanding. Verse 22. Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. Ooh, this is talking about the importance of having those the counselors around you, the advisors around you, those of wisdom. The breakdown is back from 11:14. Let's see what we got. This one is talking about multitude of counselors. A good decision is made with multiple wise advisors. The more crucial a decision, the more appropriate is corporate wisdom. Note the example of David. And then you can go into David, figure out where that was from. So, as your decisions get larger, having those advisors become more and more important. Verse 23. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good it is. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good it is. I wonder if that's just talking about how it's important. I don't know. I'm sure when I read this in like 10 years, I'll get something out of that. Interesting. Verse 24. The way of life winds upward for the wise, and that he may turn away from hell below. The way of life, I think it's winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. I like how it, I like how it does say winds, right? Because they're saying the way of life winds. It's not a straight path. It's not a highway. It meanders its way up away from the hell below. We're not saying it's going to be a straight path. We're not going to say it's an easy path. We're going to say it's going to be a windy path away from hell. If you're one of those wise. That's the key phrase there. Verse 25. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow. He will destroy the house of the proud. When evil men try to take the property of widows, God will intervene. The most desolate who have God's help possess a more permanent dwelling place than the prosperous and self-reliant sinners. No matter your station in life, if you're with God, with God's help, you are better off than all these people that, like Jeff Bezos. I'll just say it, like, better than it. I don't know if he's a Christian or not, to be honest with you, but it's hard to know a man's heart, period. It's definitely way harder when you've never met him. So the real point of that is, don't be a self-reliant sinner. Verse 26. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant. Just what you're thinking, if you're wicked, if you have those wicked thoughts, and I mean, we like to call them intrusive thoughts in modern times, these thoughts are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant. Keep in mind, clan boys. Verse 27. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. Boom, 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 boom. Bribes. It doesn't do a breakdown. But this is a good call out to be truthful and honest in all that you do. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house. You will only trouble yourself. You're not actually going to get ahead. Flip side of that, he who hates bribes will live. I make this joke all the time, and I probably should stop making the joke, that I should be bribed. Like, if you want to, like, get my business or whatever, because I work in dialysis, work in healthcare, and these pharmaceutical reps will come in all the time and, like, try to give, like, free food, or, like, hey, let me talk to you about this. And I'm like, no, pay for my time. My time is valuable. If you want me to give you some of my valuable time, treat it like it's valuable. Like, where are my bribes? Where is the money? If you want me to take you seriously, do it. Like, I don't need free food. I brought my lunch. Like, what are you doing here? Make my time count. The only people that are getting your free food are the people that don't prescribe crap, that don't help you or do anything. So, where's my bribe? And I get a little heated about that, because it does aggravate me that they think that's going to help prescribe things. And there is good psychology to show that if someone comes in there and keeps giving you free stuff, eventually you'll start listening to them. It just aggravates me. I'm going to be honest. So I'll say that. I'll say, hey, where's my money? Like, and then they'll be like, oh, you can't say that. I'm like, I sure as hell can say that, actually. So what's up? Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. Maybe I should, calm down a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I just get heated. I'm like, I've worked hard to get where I'm at. Treat me like I worked hard to get where I'm at. But don't take a bribe. I actually have never been bribed, just to be clear. Never even been offered. Like, that's the thing. I've never been offered a bribe. My time is valuable, at least to be offered it. I feel a little offended that I haven't been offered. Or maybe I should feel good that I haven't been offered because they know I won't take it. I don't know. I'm just... That's my thought process. Verse 28. The heart of the righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours forth evil. Breakdown is the mouth of the wicked. Wicked people don't guard their words. Boom, done, stamp on it. But the heart of the righteous studies how to answer. Oh, okay. So, like, how this hits. I've been doing this for a while, because I'm like, how do I communicate the information most effectively in a way that won't turn you off? Like, how can I get you to the point that you need to be? How can I convey the meaning that I want to in a way that you'll be able to understand the meaning that I'm trying to convey? Because I don't want there to be any kind of misconception. I want you to be able to hear it without it hear the meaning without it being distorted by any other factors. And that's hard. That's very, very hard. So, wow. Maybe I've got the heart of the righteous. Makes me feel good. Verse 29. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The Lord is far from the wicked. He don't want to be around those wicked people. He ain't got no time for that, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. When I read he hears the prayer of the righteous, that is a solid reminder to me to continually be praying constantly. Like, sometimes I feel like we think we have to get away to pray, and like I had one of my pastors tell me one time, he goes, yeah, you can pray while you're driving, you can pray all the time. Like, the Bible says to be consistently or constantly in prayer. I was like, well, man, that's good. And literally the other day, I thought about that yesterday when I was working. I was like pulling up meds, and I was like praying. I was like, let me get it together, because my brother's sick and like he's feeling like doo doo. So I was like, I need to pray for him. I ain't got time to like step away and go do it. Let me pray for him now. Let me pray for him right here. And that's what I did. Verse 30. The light. Or wait, am I at 30? Yeah. Verse 30. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones healthy. So the light of the eyes is the breakdown. This is a comparison so that the good report defines this term. Whatever is good, sound truth and wisdom stirs the heart by relieving anxiety and producing a cheerful face. Ooh, that sounds good. Let's read it again. Whatever is good, sound truth and wisdom stirs the heart by relieving anxiety and producing a cheerful face. I need my cheerful face. That's what I'm saying. I need to work on it. I need to make sure that like I can express myself and show what's happening on the inside, or just let God work on me. I don't know which way to go with that. Like, that's interesting. It will be produced in you by God. I'm going to read that again. This is the verse. Verse 30 of Proverbs 15. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones healthy. Verse 31. The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. You have to hear those rebukes. You have to hear them, but really hear them deep down. The breakdown. The acquiring of wisdom demands a teachable spirit. That's what I'm trying to say by hear them. Be teachable. Hear them, act on them, take them seriously. Verse 32. He who disdains instruction, the opposite to the guy that's going to be good and teachable. He who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. We're talking about being open. Hear those rebukes, act on those rebukes. If you disdain that instruction, then you hate yourself. You despise your own soul. Take that to heart. Don't be that guy. Don't be that person. Verse 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Before honor is humility. You have to be humble. You have to be humiliated. I'm going to go read the notes on fear the Lord, just because, we talk so much about it. I think it's a good reminder to know when we say the fear of the Lord. All right? Here we go. The overarching theme of this book, and particularly the first 9 chapters, is introduced: reverence for God. Historical and theological theme. This reverential awe and admiring submissive fear is foundational for all spiritual knowledge and wisdom. While the unbeliever may make statements about life and truth, he does not have true or ultimate knowledge until he is redemptive relationship or reverential awe with God. Note the progression here. Number 1, teaching about God. Number 2, learning about God. Number 3, fearing God. Number 4, knowing God. And number 5, imitating God's wisdom. The fear of the Lord is a state of mind in which one's attitudes, will, feelings, deeds, and goals are exchanged for God's. Fear the Lord with all your heart. Love the Lord with all your heart. Fear, this is the last verse of Proverbs 15. It's 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Fear the Lord your God. What a good place to end. That's Proverbs 15, guys. Fear the Lord. I'm going to pray though before we exit today. That's what I think I'm going to do, because this is a lot, and I think it's important that I pray. And sometimes I just get excited and I just jump past it, and I don't pray on the podcast. So let's do that. Lord, be with us. Bless the words that we received. Please, please work on us. Do in us with what we can't do in ourselves. Keep us on your path. Keep our eyes pointing towards you. Give us those constant reminders to fear you. Help us just work on us. Work on us, work on us, work on us. Lord, protect us as we go throughout our days. Bless us, and if there's anyone listening to this, be with them as they go through their hard times and work on their soul. Work on them. They need you. In your name I pray, Lord. Amen. That is Proverbs 15. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. We're going to be going into, guess what? Proverbs 16. My name's Logan McCulley. This has been the Morning Bible Study, and I'll see you next time. Logan out.